its definition, and what do you mean by production through transformation by integration, transformation by disintegration, and transformation through service. And finally, we discussed about production system. Now today, let us continue our session. I am sharing the screen. Yeah. So yesterday we defined production system with some characteristics like it's an organized activity. So every production system has an objective. I told you yesterday, from industry to industry, objective may change. For one particular industry, the objective may be the high productivity. Okay. For another industry, the objective may be more economical production. So it differs from industry to industry. So today, let me discuss what are all the different types of production systems. You might have come across this in several courses earlier also, like in automation, CAD/CAM, you might have discussed all these things. So basically, we classify the production systems into 4 categories. Here, I have shown a job shop production, batch production, mass production, and continuous production. If you look at the x-axis represents product variety, and whereas the y-axis represents production volume. It is very clear from the figure here that in case of job shop production, variety is more. Okay, the value on the x-axis is more. That means the variety in the job shop is more. Whereas if you look at the y-axis, production volume is less. So that is the characteristic of job shop. High variety, low volume. And then coming to batch production variety is less than job shop. A medium variety, I can say. A medium variety of jobs you can produce. Quantity wise also, they are medium. The third one is the mass production, wherein variety is very, very less, whereas volume is very high. And in case of continuous production, still the variety is very, very low. Only one, at the most, only one type of product it may be producing, whereas the volume is huge. So let me discuss each and every one of them in detail. So let me come to the job shop first. So in case of job shop, the characteristics are high variety of products and low volume, as we already discussed. The second one is it uses general purpose machines and facilities. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by general purpose machines?
Like
this we discussed in the last semester, if I remember.
Like washing machine, hair dryer.
So in industry scenario, what is the general purpose machine?
Lathe machines.
Yeah. Lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machine. These are all the general purpose machine. Why we are naming it as general purpose machine means the same machine is being used for producing different types of parts. Using lathe machine, you can produce n number of different types of parts. That is not meant for making only one type of product. So that is the reason why we name it as general purpose machine. So in job shop industry, we are actually dealing with variety of products. When there are variety of products, you need to have general purpose machines. And then other characteristic of job shop is highly skilled operators who can take up each job as a challenge because of uniqueness. So in job shop industry, every year or every month, in fact, every week or every day, the product may be changing. Every day, the operator has to work on new type of product. So to deal with that, he need to have high skill. So any different kind of product, he must be in a position to manufacture. So we need high skilled operators in case of job shop because of uniqueness of the products he's dealing with. And then large inventory of materials and tools and parts. Can anybody tell me why you need large inventory in case of job shop? Maybe in terms of material or tools or parts.
Because
Different
there
type
are
of
number of
varieties.
varieties.
Pardon?
Different
Number of
type of
varieties.
varieties.
Yeah, different types of products you are dealing. So different types of products require different types of raw material. So only after receiving the customer order, you cannot go and purchase raw material. You need to have some minimum stock on the stores. So we keep different types of materials in our stores. Similarly, we need different types of tools for making different types of parts. So you need to have an inventory of tools. And also parts, they are nothing but the components. Maybe in assemblies, different types of components you may be using. So you need to possess all those components also as inventory. We don't say that we maintain a large or a huge inventory for every type of material, but whatever the minimum required is there, that minimum required material for each variety we keep. Put together, it becomes large inventory. All different materials, tools, parts put together, it becomes large inventory. But individually, certain minimum stock we maintain to deal with unexpected job orders you are getting. So these are the characteristics of job shop. Another characteristic is you need to have a detailed planning. What for? Detailed planning to sequence the requirement of each product. So let us say, if you assume that there is a product X requires first operation on the lathe machine, second operation on the drilling machine, third on the shaper, and finally heat treatment. But tomorrow we are taking up a new product. Its sequence is different. Okay, you need to check whether your missions are free or not. So what are the capacities of the work centers you have? Are there any jobs which are already being processed on it? You need to prioritize. So a detailed planning is very much essential in case of job shop industry. That plan keeps changing every day, depending upon the type of product that you are receiving. Am I clear? The characteristics? Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let us discuss about some advantages of job shop. What are they? Because you are using general purpose missions and facilities, variety of products can be produced. That's what we discussed in the previous slide also. Because you are dealing with variety of products, you need general purpose missions. And operators will become more skilled and competent as each job gives them learning opportunities. Every day, your labor or your operators are learning new things because they are dealing with new type of designs. Okay, so they must understand the new design and accordingly they must manufacture. So they gradually they improve their skill sets. And we are going to utilize operators to the full potential. Whatever the potential operator is having, to the full potential, we make use them. And always there exists an opportunity for creative methods and innovative ideas. Every day you are receiving new type of product. It's a challenge for you. How to manufacture that with less time, within less time, and more economically. You need to think creatively. Okay, so in the process, you will get innovative ideas. So always there is an opportunity for creative methods and innovative ideas in case of job shop. But still there are some limitations in the job shop production. What are those limitations? Higher cost due to frequent setup changes. I hope all of you agree with that. Whenever a product changes, you need to change the setup of the machine. Is it or not? For handling different types of materials, you may be setting up the machine. Along with, you may be using some fixtures. You may be using some zigs to make a product. Is it or not? When the product variety changes, obviously you have to change the setup also. So whenever you change the setup, certain time is consumed. The time is costing. So you will lose a lot of time in setting up the mission whenever a product changes. That leads to higher cost. And then higher level of inventory at all levels, and hence higher inventory cost. In the previous slide we discussed, you need to maintain large inventories. Your entire money is blocked. Certain capital is blocked in the form of inventory, which otherwise you could have invested for some other purpose. And production planning is complicated. The reason being, every day a new product is coming. You are getting new customer orders, and you have to prioritize these orders. Every company will have their own strategy to prioritize the customers. It depends upon how frequently the customer is paying, giving the orders. There may be a frequent customer. Okay, so for them, the company may give highest priority. So there may be another customer who will pay the total advance amount. Even for them, they give the higher priority. So every company will have their own strategy. So depending upon that, it has to prioritize the jobs, and based on the priority, your production plan will also change. Which job is to be loaded first on which mission? That will be decided based upon the priority that you are giving to the job. So when today you have assumed that one particular customer is having highest priority. Tomorrow, you may be getting one more customer with much more higher priority. So what you will do? So there the complexity comes. How to deal with such urgent jobs or high priority jobs. And you have to meet the deadlines. You have to deliver the goods to the customer as per the date promised. So these are the things which makes production planning complicated. And obviously, job shop industry requires a large space. Large space for storing inventory. Is it or not? And you need to have different types of general purpose missions to deal with different kinds of products. So all of them, they occupy space. Now, can any one of you tell me the examples, depending upon the characteristics that we discussed about job shop? Can I have some examples of job shop, which you have seen in your day-to-day life? Anyone? Yeah?
Shops,
Which shop?
general purpose shops.
How we are saying that it is a job shop industry?
Because there are many types of items which they will be selling.
A retail store you are talking about.
Yes, sir.
I am asking you, okay, any production shop? Yeah?
Lathe.
Lathe is a mission. I'm asking, what is the
Like
industry?
welding shops here. In
Welding
welding shop, we
shops.
can see large varieties like protection of gates and metal windows.
Engineering shops.
Yeah. So shall I say it as a fabrication shop?
Sir, we can.
Fabrication shop?
Yes, sir.
Right. Any other?
Sir, metal sheet shop, sir.
Metal sheet shops. This also
Yes,
comes
sir.
under fabrication. Okay.
Toy store.
Pardon?
Toy store.
Oil store. What is this oil store?
Toy, sir.
Toy store.
Yes.
Oh, I am talking about manufacturing or making some products. It is a selling thing. Yeah, whatever you're telling is a selling shop you're talking about. Anything that you make in the form of job order or the job shop.
Carpentry.
Carpentry. Okay. Fine. Let me quote few examples here. Job shop. Do you agree? Tailor shop?
Yes, sir.
Every customer has his own design, his own fit, isn't it? He makes the cloth as per the customer choice, isn't it? Cycle and vehicles repair shops. Every order he is receiving may have different type of problem, and he has to address that problem. Job typing shops, maybe your DTP operators, they do different types of work in different formats. Small workshops which are having lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machine kind of things. Whenever the customer comes and asks for different types of product, he will make using those general purpose machines, whatever he has. In Warangal, you might have seen several such workshops. You go to Autonagar, don't you see small workshops with certain general purpose machines they use? And as one of you said, fabrication units, that can be a welding shop or that can be a sheet metal shop or whatever it is. So they make different types of products based upon the customer choice. So they all come under job shop production. Are you clear with the job shop?
Sir.
Yeah, shall we proceed for the next?
Sure, sir.
Okay, the second one is a batch production shop. What do you mean by batch production? As per American Production and Inventory Control Society, it is defined as batch production shop is a form of manufacturing in which the job passes through functional departments in lots or batches, and each lot may have different routing. So what do you mean by functional departments? Anybody has idea about that? Functional departments.
Like preparing and assembling and
Not exactly. Depending upon the function the machine performs, different departments we create. Like suppose, if I take lathe machine, lathe machines have certain operations to do. They do all different, same type of operations. All lathe machines are grouped at one place. Suppose your industry is having 10 lathe machines. These 10 lathe machines are kept at one place. We call it as a cell or a department, lathe department or lathe cell. Similarly, all milling machines, they perform one type of activity. So we group all milling machines and we keep it in a separate department or a separate cell. So here, we are not going to arrange the machines in any one particular order on the shop floor. Similar machines, based on the function they do, they are kept at one place. Heat treatment unit kept at one place. Welding unit kept at one place. Lathe, drilling, milling, separately, you will keep them in different cells. Okay? So we are grouping those machines based upon the function they do. So here, in batch shop industry, as we discussed in the very first slide, variety is medium. That means batch shop is dealing with maybe, let us say 10 to 20 different types of products. So for every product, the sequence of operations are different. So you cannot arrange the machines in a particular order, like first lathe machine, second drilling machine, third shaper. You cannot keep them in order because whenever batch changes, its sequence is changing. So what we do here, we group similar type of machines in cells or the departments, and we call it as a process layout. Do you remember process layout? We might have discussed some layouts
yes,
in
sir.
last semester, product layout, process layout, like that.
Fixed layout.
Yeah, fixed layout, exactly. So process layout, we use here in batch shop production. What we do there means, we group similar kind of machines in one place, and whatever the job which is entering into the shop floor, depending upon its requirement, we send that job to a particular department. So that is the reason why the common definition given here is, it's a form of manufacturing in which job passes through functional departments in lots or batches. That means I'm going to produce 100 jobs of similar type. All those 100 jobs will be sent to the particular departments. And each batch or each lot may have different routing. That means tomorrow you are dealing with a different batch of products. Its routing is different. Its first mission requirement is different from yesterday's job. So like that. So here the concept is we use process layout and we group the missions based upon functionality. So it is characterized by the manufacture of a limited number of products produced at regular intervals and stocked awaiting sales. So we manufacture batches of products and we keep them in the stores. Can anybody tell me any example of a batch shop where we manufacture different batches? The same company, but it manufactures jobs in batches. After completing one batch, let us say 1,000 products it completes, they switch over to the next batch. So like that. A particular industry may be producing 10 different types of products in a year, 10 batches.
Like sports companies, sir.
Yeah?
Sports companies.
Sports company, right.
Clothing also, sir.
Clothing, okay, right.
Bread factories.
Pardon?
Bread factories.
Bread factories, okay.
Pharmaceuticals also, sir.
Pharmaceutical, exactly. So maybe they may be running a batch of ibuprofen. So once they complete ibuprofen manufacturing, then they may shift to Crocin or a Dolo or whatever it is. So they manufacture in batches. A shoe company, different types of models they make, isn't it? It can be an air conditioning company, different tonnages, different capacities, air conditioners they make. So wherever there is a variety, models are there. So same company will manufacture different models in batches. So that's about batch production. So if you look at here, we are talking about batch production. What are its characteristics? So this is used when there is a shorter production runs. That means you are not running the same product throughout the year. Maybe for 10 days you are running that. Okay. So for 10 days you are running a batch. The next 10 days you may switch over to another batch. When plant and machinery are flexible. So here, even in batch shop, you are supposed to have general purpose missions again. The reason being, the same missions we are using for 10 or 20 different types of products. Of course, the variety is medium here, but still these medium variety need to be dealt by the machinery. So you are supposed to have general purpose missions here as well. And then change of setup is required for processing the next batch. So here we set the mission once and we complete the entire batch. Only after completion of the batch, we switch over to we change the setup and switch over to the next batch. So whereas in job shop, what we were doing, for every job, we are changing the setup. So here we don't do that way. For a particular batch, one setup will be there. Only when the batch changes, setup changes. And then when manufacturing lead time and cost are lower as compared to job order production. So here in job shop, manufacturing lead time is more. Do you agree with that? Or first of all, what do you mean by manufacturing lead time? Anyone? This also we discussed in the last semester. Manufacturing lead time.
From the time of order to its completion, sir.
Exactly. So from the time you receive the raw material for processing till the completion of the product, the time consumed is called as manufacturing lead time, starting operation, ending operation. So why it is more in case of job shop?
Various operations taking place.
Various operations in job shop, particularly new designs are coming up every day. Operator has to understand the design, is it or not, before he makes it or before he processes it. So for the first time he is doing that. So obviously he takes more time. He will be more cautious to avoid undercuts or wastage of the material. So very carefully he is supposed to do by understanding the design. Obviously the time taken will be more to deal with a new type of product every day. And the cost is also more. The reason being, per day, the number of products manufactured will be less. Your labor cost is high. So obviously cost is more. So lead time as well as cost is more in case of job shop. But in batch shop, it is relatively less. Compared to job shop, MLT, manufacturing lead time and costs are less, because for the first job, it may be taking some time, but same job, 100 pieces you are making in a batch. So as the number of jobs are increasing, obviously the time taken will be less by the operator and the cost will also reduce accordingly. So these are the characteristics of batch shop. So what are the advantages? You can better utilize the plant and machinery because you have 10 lathe machines in one particular department. All 10 lathe machines you are engaging, because the batch you are manufacturing may be 100 or 200 or 500 depending upon the customer order. Okay. Or the industry may also be manufacturing for make to stock. Do you know the term make to stock? Make to stock means you need not receive any customer order now, but your product is having demand in the market. So what you do, you manufacture the products and you keep them in the store. So whenever the customer order comes, you will be dispatching the goods readily. Isn't it? See, umbrellas, you don't manufacture only at the time of rainy season. You make to stock. You'll be continuously manufacturing it and you will be storing them. During rainy season, there will be more number of orders. At that time, you will be delivering it. Okay. So make to stock always is the choice for this batch shop as well. Promotes functional specialization. The meaning here is you are grouping all lathe machines at one place. And the operator working on lathe machine continuously works on the same machine throughout the year. So you know in and out of lathe machine completely. Using lathe machine, he can make any different kind of product. He will become a specialist on lathe machine. Okay, so that's how it promotes functional specialization. And then cost per unit is lower compared to job order. As already we discussed, MLT, manufacturing lead time, is decreasing, thereby cost will also decrease. Lower investment in plant and machinery, because you are going for general purpose machines here again. General purpose machines won't cost much. I can get a lathe machine for 25,000. But if I go for a special purpose machine, it costs more. So normally investment in the plant and machinery will be less. And flexibility to accommodate and process number of products. Obviously, because you are using general purpose machines, you have flexibility to deal with different types of products. And job satisfaction exists for operators. How it means? He is become proficient. He is becoming specialist in one particular area. That may be lathing or that may be milling. So he will get a satisfaction out of that. What are the limitations of this batch shop then? Material handling is complex because of irregular and longer flows. Whenever the batch changes, the routing is changing. That's what we discussed. So, but our missions are grouped as per the functions they are performing. Let us say the first department I have is lathe department. The second department is drilling department. The third one is shaper. Fourth one is heat treatment. Okay. So today, first batch requirement is it may be going to the first compartment for the lathe section, next to the drilling, next to the shaping, and then it may go to the heat treatment. But tomorrow or after 10 days, if the new batch comes, the new batch processing sequence may be different. So it has to go to shaper first and then come back to lathe. And then it may go to milling. So there is an irregularity in the movement of the material. Okay, unnecessary time wastage will be there in traveling or in transporting the material from one department to the another department. Production planning and control is also complex. So in production planning and control, yesterday we discussed, we deal with the scheduling, process planning, scheduling as well. So this is becoming complex because, of course, the complexity is relatively less than job shop, but still complexity exists here. Whenever the batch changes, you have to go for the new process plan, new scheduling activity. Okay, so that becomes a complex. And then work in process inventory is higher compared to continuous production. So what do you mean by work in process inventory? Anyone has idea about WIP, work in process inventory? Anyone? Work in process inventory.
No idea, sir.
Yeah, these are nothing but semi-finished jobs lying on the shop floor. Okay. One way it could be like a job which has completed 2 or 3 operations waiting for the next operation. Why it is waiting means machine is busy with some other job. Okay, there is no free mission he has. So that is the reason why material is being waiting on the shop floor. This is an inventory, a temporary inventory, I can say. We call that as work in process inventory. This is about semi-finished jobs lying on the shop floor and waiting to get processed. There could be another type of WIP inventory, work in process inventory. Intentionally, the industry people, they make semi-finished objects and keep them in the stores. Let us assume that one particular job requires 4 operations. First operation on lathe, second operation on drill, third on shaper, and fourth on milling. 4 operations are required. Imagine the drilling machine is breakdown, which is the second mission. When the drilling machine is under breakdown, the jobs which have completed lathe operation, they cannot proceed further, is it or not? Unless the drilling is over, they cannot move to shaper, let us say. So, but the drilling machine is under breakdown. There is no other free drilling machine. So I cannot continue my production with the shaper and milling. So then what we have to do? So to avoid this difficulty, what we do, we will have a stock of few jobs on which lathe operation and drilling operation are already over. So I will make use those pieces and continue my production with the shaper and milling. Meanwhile, the drilling machine gets repaired. You got my point? Suppose a drilling machine is under breakdown. Drilling machine is under breakdown. So I need to have some jobs in the stores on which drilling operation is already over. Those jobs I will take and continue my production with the rest of the missions. So industry always intentionally keeps such type of semi-finished jobs in the stores. Okay, so that production will never suffer. Are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So higher setup costs due to frequent changes in the setup. Of course, here again, setup costs are relatively less than job shop. In job shop, for every product, you are changing the setup. Here, at least, whenever batch changes, only at that time you are changing the setup. So relative to job shop, setup cost is less here, but still, we say compared to mass production, we have higher setup cost even in batch shop also. So examples as we discussed, pharmaceutical companies, it can be tire production shops, it can be ready-made dress companies, it may be cosmetic manufacturing companies, etc. So this is all about batch production. Are you clear with the job shop and batch shop?
Sir?
Are you clear with the job shop and batch shop?
Sir, I have doubts, sir, regarding.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in case of automation, while we are learning this programmable automation,
Hmm.
you said products will be like batches.
Hmm.
Can we say that the industries which are following the programmable automation comes under this?
Exactly. They come under this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See, we reprogram whenever the batch changes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it.
Yes, sir.
So let us come to the third category, that is mass production. So mass production is nothing but it is manufacturing of large volumes of discrete parts or assemblies. What do you mean by discrete parts? That means pieces, different. So let us suppose that a bolt is a discrete part, or a nut is a discrete part, or a screw is a discrete part. A single entities. Okay. So when you manufacture large volumes of bolts, that is nothing but mass production. Okay. That is, they are not in, let us say, continuous form, like they are not in a liquid form or a powder form. They are physical objects, discrete parts, or it can be assembly as well. When you produce them in large volumes, it is called as mass production. Any example of mass production?
Like beverages, sir.
Beverages, okay. Any other? Beverages, I will tell you later. This
Sir,
also.
industries,
Pardon?
industries producing large amount of parts, automobile parts.
Large amount of automobile parts. Let us say there can be an industry which makes only spark plugs. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Large volumes. So like that, any industry, which is, yeah.
Casting by the use of gating system.
Castings. Okay, right. Any other?
Mobile, sir. Mobile production, sir.
Mobiles. Okay. Mobiles in larger quantities they make, right.
Products.
Right. So anything when you produce in large quantities, that comes under mass production. So this production system is justified by very large volume, and the machines are arranged in a line or product layout. We call it as a line layout or product layout. What do you mean by that? Product layout means machines are arranged according to the product requirement. Because throughout the year, you are making the same product. Isn't it? Throughout the year, you are making the same product. So it's first operation, second operation, or 10th operation. The sequence is always same, constant. So you can arrange the missions also in the same order. If you arrange the missions as per the sequence of operations of the job, that is called as a line layout or product layout. What would be the advantage of arranging the missions like that? What advantage I will get if I arrange the missions as per the sequence of job operations?
Time
Less time.
You will save time in transporting the material from one mission to the another mission. There is no back and forth movement, isn't it? Always the material moves forward. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So there you can save a lot of time. So the layout which you are going to use in mass production is product layout. So product and process standardization exists and all outputs follow the same path. That means here, the process that you adopt in developing the product, that is standardized. Okay. And also the product specifications are standard specifications. That means half an inch bolt means that is the standard size. You have to make half an inch bolt only. You cannot vary the sizes of the bolt. Spark plug, it is a standard size. Always you have to make a standard size only. So standardization is important in case of mass production. You cannot vary the dimensions. Got my point? What are the characteristics? As we discussed just now, standardization of the product and process sequence. That means what is the first operation? What is the second operation? You are standardizing that process also. Similarly, you are standardizing the dimensions of the product also. Then we need to have dedicated special purpose missions having higher production capacities and output rates. What is this special purpose mission? Yeah. What is this special purpose mission? Anyone?
Which is used to only select, which is used to do selected operations.
Which is used to do selected operations. Any other answers?
Only a particular type of operations can be done.
Correct. Only one particular operation can be done. Can you quote some example?
3D printer.
3D printer, right? It's a special purpose mission. Okay. But
Industry.
a 3D printer as well, depending upon the design, it may produce different types of parts again.
Drilling machine.
Welding machine. No, welding machine I can use for making n number of different types of parts.
Drilling machine.
Drilling also. Yeah,
No.
drilling machine. Its purpose is only to drill. That's right. Okay.
Punching machine or embossing machine.
Punching machine or embossing machine. Correct. Yeah. A packet sealing machine. Can you use a packet sealing machine for any other purpose? You can't use it. Is it or not? That is meant for only sealing the packets. So in the industry, in case of mass production, we use special purpose machines. Their purpose is only to make that product only. You cannot use that machine for a different product. If at all you want to use, you have to make major changes in the hardware of it. Otherwise, you cannot use it. So special purpose machines are those which are meant for making only one type of product. So in mass production, we use special purpose machines. Okay.
Injection mold.
Injection molding, right.
Drilling machine.
Correct. So, what do you say? Milling machine? No, don't say milling machine, drilling machine. They come under general purpose machines. They come under general purpose machines. They make different types of product. Milling machine can be used for making different types of gears as well. It's not meant.
Hydraulic press.
Yeah, hydraulic press. Okay, it only does pressing operation.
Air compressor.
Air compressor, correct. Its purpose is only to develop high pressure air. So large volume of products will be there here. Shorter cycle time of production because they are special purpose mission. Very quickly you can develop the products here. Lower in-process inventory. We don't require inventory because missions are arranged in the order, in the sequence of job operations. And continuously, one after the other, we are making. So there is no chance of job waiting for the mission here unless it is breakdown. Unless the mission is breakdown, there is no question of job waiting for mission. Because all the jobs are following the same route. One after the other, they get processed on the missions. If the mission fails, then we go for work in process inventory. We take semi-finished jobs and we continue our production. And there is a perfectly balanced production line. Perfectly balanced production line means we see that workload on all the missions is more or less same. Suppose if a particular job is having 10 operations. Okay. In these 10 operations, Sixth operation is taking more time. Let us say sixth operation itself is taking 40 minutes, whereas all other missions are taking less than 10 minutes. Then what we do? This sixth mission will become a bottleneck mission. All the jobs have to wait till it completes each and every job. It is consuming more time. So what we do there, we keep 4 such missions in the 6th place, so that there won't be any waiting time for the jobs which are completed previous operations. Am I clear? That's how we balance the load. We don't overload any one particular mission. Wherever required, we keep number of similar missions at that place. So flow of material, components and parts is continuous and without any backtracking. That means there is no back and forth movement of the material. Always the material moves forward only. And production planning and control is easy, because once you do planning, every day the same thing is happening. You need not change the plan again and again. And controlling is also very easy. Supervision is very easy. And material handling can be completely automatic. In most of the cases, we may be using automated guided vehicles or robots or anything to handle the material, or overhead cranes. We discussed several material handling equipment in the previous classes in automation. All of them can be a part of mass production. So the advantages are higher rate of production with reduced cycle time, higher capacity utilization due to line balancing. Every mission optimally we are using. Less skilled operator are required. Why there is less skill here? Because you are using special purpose missions. Operator has to do nothing. At the most, he has to load and unload the job. Special purpose mission will take care of everything. So you don't require highly skilled labor here. And a low process inventory, as I already discussed to you. And the manufacturing cost per unit is very, very low. Initial investment will be high in mass production. That means special purpose missions, you have to invest a lot. But when you produce larger quantities, you will cross break-even point early, and then you will enter into the profits. So obviously, the manufacturing cost per unit will be low as the number increases. The limitations are breakdown of one mission will stop the entire production line. But what is the remedy for this?
Buffer.
What is the remedy?
Buffer stocks.
Buffer stock or semi-finished jobs, work in process. That we will utilize here. Line layout needs a major change with a change in the product design. Suppose if you want to change the product, you need to make major changes in the machinery as well as the layout, because the sequence of our operations will change when the product changes. Missions may or may not be useful. So normally we don't change the product in mass production. High investment in production facilities. As I already told you, special purpose missions will cost high. The cycle time is determined by the slowest operation. Cycle time is what is the time interval at which the products are coming out. So that is actually determined by the slowest operation. I told you an example. 6th operation is taking 40 minutes. That is actually called as a bottleneck mission or the slowest station. That will decide the cycle time. If you don't keep alternate missions for that, cycle time will be more. So to reduce cycle time, you have to keep alternate missions for that. So examples are number of industrial products, gears, pulleys, belt drives, V-belts, flat belts, bolts, nuts, screws, all of them come under mass production. So this is the briefing about these three. In the next class, I shall discuss about continuous production also. So to conclude, let me say briefly, job shop variety is more, volume is less. Batch shop production, variety is medium, volume also medium. Whereas in case of mass production, variety is very less, volume is very high. All of you are clear? All of you are clear?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday I have posted syllabus in Canvas. I hope you might have received email.
Yes, sir.
And in the syllabus, towards the end, textbooks are listed. You can also look at that. One textbook authored by Ashwatthappa, another is by Buffa. These are the two good books for this course. There are few more reference books as well. You go through the detailed syllabus in Canvas. And I will be posting this material also in the Canvas. In the next class, from the next class onwards, what I do, I will post the material a day before I take the class so that you can go through the material and attend the class. Will it be convenient for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay. We follow a flipped classroom model. In flipped classroom model, the material will be given to you first. You go through the material and we shall have a discussion in the subsequent class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Good day.
Sir, excuse
Yeah.
me, sir. Sir, I
You know?
have yes, sir. Sir, in present situation, what type of production strategy is being used in in production of masks, sir? Masks, sir, producing no, sir, in present situation.
What type of strategy is used in mass production?
Mask production. We use masks now, sir. Face.
Yeah. Right. Mask production is again coming under mass production itself.
Sure.
Because few industries are making in thousands of quantity. Every day they are producing in thousands. They are going for mass production. Okay, layer by layer they are pressing. They use pressing machines as well as knitting machines. Okay, so manually it is very difficult to make thousands of masks every day. So again, that is coming under mass production.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Any other doubts? Okay then. Thank you. Good day.